Hi guys, it's Sarah from Book Nerds and Fangirls, and today is day 4 of 31 of the 31 Days of Fangirling. Now, at first, I didn't have a schedule for the Days of Fangirling, and then yesterday, I worked out a schedule. I thought of some video ideas that I'm excited to share with you guys. So I'm going to be linking down the video schedule down below, and then putting down the videos as I go. So if you miss a day of fangirling, you can go back and watch that one. So I'm excited for that. But without further ado, let's get on to the topic of discussion today. Now, 2 days ago, I did reading negative reviews about my most favorite books, and that was a fun experience. Alcohol was involved, so that was fun. And today, I thought I would read positive comments about my least favorite books. So I got like 4 books. Not even 4. I got like 3 books to share with you today. They're gonna be a little bit faster with the 3 books because I have work soon. So I can't spend nearly as much time filming today as I do any other day. I have tea instead of liquor because, going to work drunk would be bad for anyone. And also, as a quick disclaimer, I will not be involving Twilight, nor will I be involving 50 Shades of Grey, because I feel like those are really overdone. But rather, I'm gonna be sharing with you guys my unpopular opinion about books that I don't like. 2 of these are like really popular books that people like. And then one of them is like people started liking the series earlier on, and then it got bad because cash grabbing is cash grabbing. They're still doing it. I don't know why they're still doing it. Like, let the series go. No one gives a shit anymore. Just stop. So, I'll get on to my least hated book on this list, and then just move on. So, I'm gonna be doing Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor first. I don't know why I'm not on the hype train for this one. I thought it was just too hype for it to be okay. And I read it, and I didn't like it, so here's sipping the tea on that one. But, let's react to positive reviews about this, because I know there is, like, a lot of positive reviews on this one. Like I said, you can like what you like, and you can hate what you hate. Also, quick disclaimer, just because these are my opinions and I do not like these books, and you do, does not make me like you any less. It's just my opinion of these books, your opinion of these books. We're different people, our opinions are gonna differ, etc., etc. Let's get on to the video. I think I'm gonna read, like, this one first. Because they mentioned, like... But that one's actually really long, too. But I'm just over here like, wait a minute. Okay, maybe not that one, because it's like the very first one, and I don't do first comments on this one. I'll also not be mentioning names on this list. Because I feel like you could go read their reviews. And even though they're public domain, I don't really like saying people's names on this channel. So here's a review. Oh my god, I love this book so much. I am so in love with Akiva. The little picture was the best I could find. That is sort of what I picture. It doesn't have his amazing black shadow fire wings or the longish black hair that I imagined, but who cares? Apparently a lot of people care about if the casting choice is right or not, That's a thing. Once upon a time, a little girl was raised by monsters, but angels burned the doorways to the world, and she was alone. I love Karu's character. She's got blue hair, she can draw, she's got a best friend named Susanna. She's really sweet, I just love her. She can pull some bad to the bone stunts too. Okay, quick side note, I did like Karu as a character. I just didn't like her choices that she made in this book. Karu has no idea what she truly is. She does live in her human world, but was raised by Chimera? Things are not always as they seem. Not all of the evil creatures are totally evil, and not all the good angels are good. Lady Taylor writes such rich characters, things I can never even dream up, and for the most part can't pronounce half their names. Truth, girl. Kara lives in her own place through the means given to her by Brimstone. He raised her, she does horrible things for him, and they love each other. I didn't like some of the things that were in the book that she had to do, but the author writes it in such a way that it shows these things are not okay in the real world. Also, I might add that in this world, it might not be a bad idea to have bad teeth. Well, that just threw all of you that hasn't read this book to the wind. There are some other creature things that live with Brimstone and Karu. Well, like I said, Karu is old enough to be out on her own, but in the shop, home, etc., is where they all stay for the most part, and it's not somewhere you could just walk into. There is a portal, and it's all kind of cray. Isa and a few other of the Chimera are just too cool. They all have parts of human, animal, reptile parts that make them creature monster things. I think they would look cool, well, the nice ones. I will give Lady Taylor this, she's very imaginative in her creatures. I'm gonna try to read Strange the Dreamer. Try. It's actually back in New Mexico in my storage unit. But we're gonna get that done as soon as I go down to New Mexico to get the rest of my stuff. One day these handprints start showing up on the doorway of the portals. They are done by angels. We get to meet Akiva, Hazel, and Loraz. Mostly Akiva, and holy crap on a cracker. Akiva and Karu didn't hit it off too well. Yeah, you think when someone's, like, literally trying to kill you when they first met you? They think the worst of each other, and then things change, and then things change again. Sigh. Okay, I think that was the most annoying part of the book, was the fact that they started off hating each other, and unlike, like, Delena, for instance, because Damon and Elena started off hating each other. Or, well, like, Elena tolerates Damon, but she ends up hating him later, and then it's like a hate to love thing. That what, like, they do that in seasons. They don't do it, like, within, like, guess it was, like, 20 to 30 pages of a book. I would just like the hate to love relationship that they had to be a little bit more on the hate side, if that makes sense. Since I would have really liked if their relationship had been more slow-paced than it was fast-paced, because there was a lot of things happening, and I don't think this book actually needed a relationship, just saying. I probably would have gave this book a higher rating if it not been for the relationship between Karu and Akiva. This one explains all the characters. I don't know why it took me so long to finally pick up this book, but I'm definitely glad I did. I think I'm just all in... Well, actually, I don't feel like I'm that much in the minority, but... like, I'm one of the very few that don't like this book. I thought so simple yet so true and confrontational. What kind of story will such a striking idea produce? Definitely a powerful one. From this outstanding concept comes a fantasy story of love between two people, or lovers, who belong in two completely opposite worlds. Worlds at war with each other. It is a love that was so promiscuous, and yet so beautiful and potent. A love that made a mythical dream come true. Has there been a good thing not yet said about this book? Oh, I believe there's none. Actually, there's a lot. Just do what I do and read negative reviews about your favorite book, and you will know that there are negative reviews about every book out there. This book has everything the girl in me yearns for, wishes that come true. Flying wings, Prague, portals, angels, chimeras, The pages of this book brought my girly wishes to life. The characters and the world building are so enticing, I was tragically ensnared. Whatever word surpasses the word, beautiful is what I would use to describe the writing. It's so good that my heart ached for its beauty, and yet something tied them together, something with the power to conduct her blood and breath like sympathy. So that anything she did to fight against it would feel like accord, like disharmony with herself. The metaphors are striking, and the analogies, they effortlessly made me tear up. She was like a violin that had to be tuned, the smart but better. The same but better, sorry. The plot of the story may be cliche-ish. I think that's why I didn't like it, because it was so cliche. And perhaps a tiny bit predictable, but may I say absurdly fantastic. But the writing, everything leads me back to the writing because wow. It really wowed me and made everything in the book so mystically unique, therefore making this story one of a kind. Truth is, if I could quote the entire book, I would. Every word brings forth a magical sensation. You can't see it. It is a condition of monsters that they do not perceive themselves as such. The dragon, you know, hungered in the village, devouring maidens, heard the townfolk cry monster and looked behind him. This is indeed a story of love, because I didn't fall in love with it. Gasp. Love is a luxury. No, love is an element like air to breathe, earth to stand on. But okay, I get some people's point about why this book is so good. Good, but I'm gonna go on to my next one, which is Burned by PC Cast. Like, I hated this. Well, actually, I don't think it's Burned that I hated. I think it was Tempted. So I'm gonna go to Tempted by PC Cast. For those of you who don't know this lovely, lovely book, is it Tempted? I don't know. It was... Ah, God, what was that book? It was a book before Burned. Damn it. Okay, so yeah, it was Tempted. Sorry for the pause, but I hated Tempted. It sucked. But I know there was a lot of people who liked the House and Night series. I was one of them, and then it dragged on, and it's still dragging on and on. On and on, because they're doing a new series with the same characters, and I'm just like, just let it go. Make a new story. If you want to set more books on the House and Night series, go ahead, just follow different characters, because you've got a whole school full of vampires, and you can't think of a efficient story to write for one of them, so you could still write it in your book. Like, I might not, be a big fan of the Shadowhunter series by Cassandra Clare, but at least she could make new stories in her world to keep it going and keep people interested. This one really cannot. So, this is the 6th book in this series, so spoiler alert for anyone who really cares about this series. But let's see what people think of this book. The most recent of the House of Night series continues to throw interesting developments and plot twists in the mix. New alliances form while old ones grow and change. Zoe and her friends leave the familiar town of Tulsa. Oklahoma. Behind and travel to exotic Italy to stop the High Priestess and her consort from taking over the ruling council. It's a novel that leaves you with more questions than when you started, and sets itself up as a predecessor to the most anticipated sequel. The writing is consistently good, with a storyline that I think is more interesting than the Twilight series. Readers will thirst for more when they come to the final chapter. I hated that final chapter, and it was because one of my favorite characters died. So, that's probably why I didn't really like the House of Night series after that. But I still kept reading it. Oh my god, I got one more book left in that series, and I can't even get through it. Because that's how much I hate the series. That's how much I'm done with the series. I don't even give a shit what happens in the last book, guys. I always hate the end of the book. It's so sad. Great reread, though. I love that Stark is more of a part of this book, and even though I don't like Heath, I don't like what they did to him. Well, I guess, that review spoiled the death in this book. Because of what I just said. But, yeah, I don't like what happens to Heath either, sweetie. We'll agree on that. This was an amazing 6th edition, although I felt that the cover isn't the greatest. You can see which guy gets booted. Lot of drama and trauma in Zoe's life, even a new position. Okay, so, as for the whole thing, okay, I'm going into spoiler territory, so if you care about the House of Night series, whatsoever, wait until I'm done. Get this, Arwif? Okay, so, here's the thing. Okay, there's a huge difference between, you could tell what the guy gets booted, and if a guy dies on you. So, let's just say Zoe didn't get the chance to make an effective choice between Stark and Heath because Heath died. Okay, and even if Heath hadn't died, I think she would have still chosen Stark. Even though I hate their relationship because Stark is such an asshole. To Zoe, I do not recommend their relationship. It gets a little better, but not enough for me to actually give a shit about their relationship. There's just too much bad, in my opinion, to really give a shit about the goodness of their relationship. I really don't like Stark and Zoe as a couple. Zoe already had 3,000 love triangles going on by the time Stark arrived, which, made me, one, not trust Stark as much, and two, not really give a shit when he came into play. But there's a huge difference between, choosing to be with someone and, someone dying on you, so you had to choose the other one. Just saying. Mini rant over. So, okay, back to the review. But she still can break the feeling of wanting to be normal and fights for it until she finally gets that she has to do what she has to do for her and her people. The ending was a real shocker. It left me speechless in a good way. I also had to get used to the fascinating views of the characters throughout the book. I hadn't liked having them at first because Zoe was such a good character, but it really gives you an upper hand in the plot. I started to get used to it. Just watch out for an epic ending. Okay, back to spoiler territory. Okay, so, like, I know people say that, like, Stark and Zoe are, like, the best couple ever in this book, which I have to disagree with, but Zoe's soul didn't shatter because Stark died. Zoe's soul shattered because Heath died. Let's sit on that for a second. Also, side note, I heard in the new series, Heath is back. Not shocking, because they try to bring him back as a character throughout the series through the vessel Aruk, I think his name is. So, my question is, why the hell bother to kill him off in the first place if you're just gonna bring him back via vessel? I don't get it. Not my cup of tea. Okay. Did I read 3 positive reviews of this one? I'll read one more review about this one. I just finished this book literally 5 minutes ago, and let me tell you, I was bawling my eyes out at the end. It was a very creative ending with a great cliffhanger, but I'm disappointed because we will probably have to wait another couple months to get a hold of Burned. Can't wait. I will give the ending credit for having balls. I just hated that ending. Like, why? Okay, and last but not least, one I probably get the most hate for not liking is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, even though a lot of people actually don't like this book. But there's a lot of people that like it. But I'm shocked to see, like, a lot of 1-star reviews. I think I'll be reading those, not for you guys, but just for myself to pinpoint, hey, there are people that don't like this book like you do. But let's get to it. I actually scrolled on, like, a booktuber's review, but there's a link to their channel on that one, so. Yes, Heidi, I heard you. Man, oh man, this was a good one. I can survive well enough on my own if given the proper reading material. I honestly did not expect to like this one as much as I did. I'm tired of the YA heroine trope. It's to the point where if I read a smidgen about a girl deciding the fate of the world, the book gets tossed on the back burner for eternity pile. Like, not gonna lie though, is anyone really still a fan of the one girl saves the world trope? Like, I think it takes more than one person to save the world. Even with the one girl can save the world trope, they have people who help them. So I'm not, like, really a huge fan of the one girl save the world trope. Just a side note. When my friend read the series and insisted, and by I mean insisted I read it, I was a bit hesitant. I shouldn't have been, because this book rocked. I also learned that I need to trust my friends more. Always trust your friends with their reading material, even if you end up, like, hating their favorite book, you could actually gain a lot by reading these books. Like, I'm not, like, the hugest fan of some books, but my friends are. Like, my friend William, he actually really likes this book. I don't personally like this book, but always listen to your friends when they say you have to read this book. Because even if their judgment is off and you don't end up liking the book that you're reading, it's still an experience, and you could actually have debates with your friends why you don't like this book. I personally don't like this book because I believe Selena is a annoying, whining protagonist. who really doesn't do anything for a badass assassin. Might change in later books. I still have to give them a try. I audiobooked a little bit of Crown of Midnight, and I liked her a little bit more, but I don't know. I feel like the side characters really make this book, and Selena is just, in the back burner of that. Sorry, not sorry, but that's the truth. As an aside, I love it when all characters literally spend their spare time reading. Makes my heart happy. Librarians were full of ideas, perhaps the most dangerous and powerful of all weapons. Selena, an 18-year-old master assassin, spent the last year as a salt mine slave as a punishment for her crime. She's slowly wasting away, but one day the prince, along with his guard, comes by to lift her from her bondage. Okay, I will admit that at first I didn't hate Throne of Glass. I was really intrigued by it. I loved that first chapter. I loved her witty banter with Kale in the first chapter. But, I have a Throne of Glass rant linked down below, so I could share why I didn't like this book. It's the only rant video that I have out for a book that I actually hated. I have another rant video out for, A Reaper of the Gates, but that's because of a specific character, and not because of the book itself. The king is in need of a champion, and had devised a convoluted plan to obtain one. All of his trusted advisors submit one criminal to a months-long tournament. The one surviving person endures a few years of servitude in exchange for complete freedom and pardoning of past crimes. Second place is a nice title for the first loser, Selena thinks. She stumbled upon an opportunity of a lifetime. But she soon realizes that things are not what they seem. Okay, side note on that competition. Don't advise a competition if you literally just don't have the competition parts. Like I said, I'll link my rant review below. Because there is, so much about this book that pissed me off. I just feel like it was exposition and not competition in the slightest. Someone seems to be killing off the other champions. The royal court wants to get rid of her. And to top it all, the prince is more attracted to her than she would have liked. But at least she has her books. Don't you ever do anything other than read. And my favorite part to the book, the bedroom scene. Anyone else with me? She moaned into her pillow. Go away, I feel like dying. No fair maiden should die alone, he said, putting a hand on hers. Shall I read to you the final moments? What story would you like? She snatched her hand back. How about the story of an idiotic prince who won't leave the assassin alone? Oh, I love that story. It was such a happy ending, too. Why, the assassin was really fronting her illness in order to get the prince's attention. Who would have guessed? Such a clever girl. And the bedroom scene is so lovely. It's worth reading through all the ceaseless banter. Now, excuse me, I need to immediately start the sequel. Okay, so I think the bedroom scene he's referring to is whenever Selena is having period cramps. And while I, applaud someone for going, hey, if mystical creatures could have periods too, and fantasy girls could have periods too, that's a thing, I just didn't think it was, needed. I feel like a lot of girls said that they wanted this trope, and then it was, a little I don't know, I read about it all the time in contemporary novels, so it's not that it hasn't been done before, it's just that it's not done as much as people want in books. Selena is one heroine to look out for. Watch out, Katniss Everdeen. I think if Katniss and Selena were in a fight, Katniss would beat her. Just first book Selena, not sure about any other book Selena. Here's a young woman who has trained under the king of assassins, who strikes fear in people's hearts the most notorious assassin that has ever seen, by receiving a pardon for her murderous crimes. The controlling king has asked her to participate in the competition to win her freedom. The captain of the guard keeps her in line, while the handsome Prince Dorian teases her mercilessly. I can't read today, honestly. Selena isn't just battling for her freedom, she's battling for her life. When all of a sudden her competitors are showing up dead in such a gruesome and horrible way, she investigates to find the killer. She isn't your average heroine, already led a very sinister life, yet she has the strength and fire to bring a tyrant down. Her many thoughts of taking a man down and ending his life is quite appalling, but I can just tell she has some anger issues that needs to be simmered down. Her playful banter with Prince Dorian is amusing, and her arguments with the captain are aggressive in a way that's almost protective. Can I say I love how she eats so much? Her appetite rivals any man. I'm guessing she wolfs down so much food due to her excessive exercise regimen. By the way, did I mention she's also an assassin? Yep, the 18-year-old young lady is the world's most notorious assassin. Speaking of assassins, this was the only smudge of annoyance in the entire book. The amount of words, the assassin. I would have loved it even so, but I just got annoyed every time it appeared. We know she's an assassin. We don't have to be reminded every 10 or so pages. Thank you for at least pointing out that. Sometimes a book has an amount of buzz that makes people sit up and take notice. That one book that have lived up to all the hype has to be thrown in glass. Actually, I think, Ember in the Ashes is a better book. If you're looking for books more in the realm of Thrown in Glass, I would definitely recommend Ember in the Ashes if you haven't picked it up. It's just so much better, in my personal opinion. Because, quite simply put, it's epic. Here is a book that brings you mystery, adventure, romance, and action, all wound down in a pretty package. One of my ultimate favorite reads of 2012 so far. Okay. So, was I the only one in this book that didn't feel like there was action? I was waiting for, this badass action, so long. And I mean, so long. And it never came. I don't see the action in this book. I see the action in all the other series. This one is just, a really bad start. Okay, last but not least, the last review. I flew through this book, and I am kind of ashamed that I started this book after waiting so long. I loved every single chapter, and the plot twist in this book got me all by surprise. I can give a synopsis of this book, but I think that won't be necessary. Selena is an amazing character, and made a lot of growth in the first book. Also, I am in love with Dorian. I'm actually more of a Kale fan. I know there's a lot that he does something later in the series that makes people hate him. But I don't hate Kale, because I have only read the first book. So there's that. Although Selena is a badass assassin, she is a girl of 18 years old with girly feelings, and I appreciate that a lot in the story. Okay, so, not gonna lie, I don't know what people are talking about when they say she's a badass assassin. I just didn't read that. Am I the only one that doesn't think Selena's a badass? Obviously not, because there are definitely 1-star reviews about this book. But I don't feel like she's a badass in any sense of the word in this book. Now, I feel like this book would have been better. Mini rant here again. I feel like this book would have been better if it had started out as her training as an assassin to kill the king. If they were conspiring. Like, she was, like, a new assassin, and she was, like, the best of her class. Her class now. And then they were making a plot to get her caught so she could compete as the king's champion and then take him down from within. Now I think that would have been a much better storyline than what they went for, if that makes sense to people. I don't know if I worded it correctly, but I think it would have been better if it had just been, hey, I'm a new assassin, we're gonna teach you, you're gonna get caught, you're gonna get picked up to be the king's champion, we're gonna make a name for you, we're gonna say you did all the stuff that you didn't do, and then you're gonna find your way to kill him. And that would have been a better story than what we got. I'm just saying, I think I would have liked that a lot better. Also, Kale is a pleasant character in this book, and also, although he wants to show he is all manly and doesn't want to show any sympathy towards Lena, he can't help it but do this with great compassion. I can be very short about this book. I loved it, and I am very happy to continue this series and enjoy the adventures waiting for Selena and Dorian and Kale. Enjoy your reading. Okay, I'll give this book this. I love Kale. Like, he was my favorite character. I would have gave this, like, a 1-star rating if it hadn't been for Kale. He's the reason why I gave it 2 stars. He's, like, one of my favorite characters. But I think that's it for today, you guys. That was all. That was reading positive comments about my least favorite books. Comment down below and let me know what makes you love these books, because I know 2 of them are very popular. And I am in the unpopular opinion. And I am in the minority of people who don't like these books. So, comment down below and let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video.